Miami's defensive line is better than Indiana's. So if Ryan Day does not have some switch up in the game plan, if he don't throw a lot of quick hitting screens or do whatever he need to do, we gonna be on Julian Sayin ass, and it's gonna get ugly for that guy. I'm telling you right now. All of this, oh, when he's under pressure, he's really good. Man, he ain't seen no shit like this. I'm telling you, he ain't seen nothing like this shit he finna face. Nothing. 41 sacks on the year. 14 interceptions. He ain't seen nothing like this shit. My dog Bryce got 6 picks. Ohio State done caught 8 the whole year. Bryce almost got more interceptions than their whole team, man. It's really gonna be like that. It's finna get dark for y'all ass.
By any means necessary. To our last breath, to the last play, we hunt. When we bleed, it's orange and green. War ready is the phrase often used. Around these parks, it's game time. No need to turn back the hands of time. We back like we never left. One thing that'll never change is the brand, the you.
Welcome back to the Games Get Played Network. I'm your host, The Wise, and I'm back. We are here to discuss Miami versus Ohio State. Yes, it's time. Going down on New Year's Eve, 7:30 in Jerry World. Listen, man, we gonna do everything in this breakdown. So y'all sit back, buckle up, and let's go on a ride. Rather, if you an Ohio State fan or a Miami fan, we're gonna take a look at everything. Especially, we're going to take a nice look at the numbers. And then from there, I'm going to give my take on how I feel like things are going to shake out. All right. So, listen. Everybody got their opinions. But at the end of the day, the games have to be played. I've seen a lot of back and forth on Twitter between Ohio State and Miami fans. I've looked at a lot of the predictions already, from PFF to just different people. It's all good. Everybody got their opinions, but these two teams gonna have to go line it up, man. They're gonna have to go line it up and see how they come out on the other side of it. So a lot of the talking and the rah-rah is cool, but let's get down to it. So first up, man, we're going to start off with Ohio State, right? I think it's only right that we go ahead and cover them first, okay? So Ohio State comes in at 12-1 on the year. The only game that they lost was to Indiana in the Big Ten Championship. You know, we all watched that game. We saw how it went. They're averaging 35 points a game, which is good for 17th in the nation in score. They're only giving up 8 points a game, which is the number one scoring defense in the nation. Strength of schedule, 28th out of 136. Right? So when we're talking about Ohio State, just up front, you got Julian Sayin at quarterback. He's completing 78% of his passes, 3,300 yards on the year, 31 TDs, only 6 interceptions. Right? So, you know, just off the bat, that's an extremely high completion percentage, obviously, at 78%. I'm pretty sure that leads the nation overall, he definitely led the conference with the 78% for sure. Um, just what he does or can do. He's an accurate passer of the football. Um, he doesn't do anything, in my opinion, that really stands out. Right? He takes care of the ball well, and he delivers it to his guys at a pretty solid clip. To me, if you have the best wide receiver tandem in the country, you should throw for more than 3,300 yards in 13 games. That's just me personally, but we'll go ahead and move on. So their leading rusher is Bo Jackson. He has 1,035 yards on the year, averaging 6 yards a pop, 5 touchdowns. After Bo Jackson, you got Peoples doing 5.6 a carry, but I guess the other guy that you would really, I guess, quote unquote, attempt to highlight is CJ Donaldson, 330 yards. He does have 10 rushing touchdowns on the year, 3.7 a carry. So he is punching it into the end zone for them. I think initially, there was more of of some hype around him. He transfers in, obviously from West Virginia, South Florida kid, made a lot of plays at West Virginia. He was expected to, be a focal point, honestly, at Ohio State, and it hasn't worked out in that light. But like I said, he has punched it in, and he has, 10 touchdowns. As far as overall, I'll say their run game is solid, right? So you got Wes Peoples, Donaldson, and Bo Jackson is the highlight, right? Bo Jackson has a lot of wiggle to him. He can make plays. If the offense, like if the O-line don't give him a lot to work with, like he can really get into some of those pockets, real quick moves, decisive with the ball. He's the one, in my opinion, to have concern about. If you want to talk about containing the run game, like you really just gotta slow him down, right? You can't let him just continue to rattle off 5 and 6 per carry. But Miami also has one of the best rushing defenses in the nation, and we'll get to that later. So as far as from the receiving perspective, we know their number one guy is Jeremiah Smith. 1,086 yards, averaging 13 yards a catch, 11 touchdowns on the year. And then, his running mate is Carnell Tate. 838 yards on the year, 9 touchdowns, averaging 17 and a half yards per catch. Everybody's familiar with JJ and Tate, right? Miami recruited both of those guys. Obviously, that didn't pan out for either one, and they've been, in particular, Jeremiah, but Tate has been extremely successful this year with, like I said, almost 18 yards a catch. To me, they're the best 1-2 punch in the country this year. If we're talking about talent and production at wide receiver, I don't think anybody else has a better duo than Ohio State, period. And this is probably the best duo that Miami has played since we played Alabama in 2021 when they had Jamison Williams and Mechie and a couple of other guys. So for sure, elite duo. I can't take anything away from them. Their third wide receiver is Brandon Ennis. Everybody's familiar with Ennis. Obviously, South Florida kid again, heritage kid. The one thing I want to point out about Brandon Ennis, right? I'm just being honest. I've done a lot of film breakdowns. I've done a lot of looking into teams over the years. And I will say, so he has 237 yards on the season, 3 touchdowns. He's averaging 7.4 yards per catch. When I tell you that is the lowest yards per catch I have ever seen a wide receiver have, that has, let's just say, 25 grabs or more, right? He has 32 catches on the year. That, like, when I saw that, I was just like, that is crazy. You're number 3, 7 point. Anyway, um, we'll get to that later. Tight end, right? So Max Clare is their leading tight end, 448 yards on the year, 2 touchdowns. And overall, I mean, that's pretty much what you need to know about the Ohio State offense. When it comes to running the ball, their average rushing team, they have a good running back, though. Let me say that, right? I think Bo Jackson is nice, but when you just look at the numbers, they're average when it comes to rushing the ball. When you look at the numbers passing, I mean, top 25, but nothing crazy, right? Nothing crazy offensively when you're talking about Ohio State outside of the talent, and I wouldn't even say one would argue. Rather, if it's a fan, doesn't matter. Like, they underperformed offensively for what they have out there. I get that this is Julian Sayin's first year, and just on the surface, anybody would say, "Oh yeah, my first year guy, first time he's playing for real. If he completes 78% of his passes, throw 31 touchdowns and 6 picks, I'm taking that 10 out of 10." And I would agree in most cases. I would even say I would definitely take that. But to have the tandem that he has, and to see that, I mean, nobody really had a crazy year for either one. I mean, JJ's year he's having this year is similar to the one he had last year. So it's like, nothing is really super crazy about it. And that's just that. So we covered, Ohio State. We covered their offense, right? As far as when it comes to their defense, so they have a slew of guys that are going to play in the league on defense, right? Their leading tackler is Sonny Styles, great linebacker. Arvell Reese is probably overall their most dynamic player. I'm not really sure how they're going to choose to use or not use him. He was doing a lot of spying at one point, like in the latter part of the season, which really didn't make a lot of sense to me, but we'll see. But he's a dynamic player that can definitely impact the game. So it's yet to be seen how they're going to attempt to use him. Caden Curry is their leading sacker. He got 11 sacks on the year. And then everybody knows that they have Caleb Downs. If I'm being totally honest, definitely on the lower end of production, hasn't done anything for real that really jumps out this year. 60 tackles, 1 sack. He has 2 interceptions. But nothing too crazy. I mean, from a production standpoint, just from a highlight standpoint, the plays he's made this year, you see a decline from freshman year to sophomore to junior year, if I'm being honest. Hasn't done nothing special this year. Is definitely still a great player, but he hasn't done anything that's popped off the charts. Inside, they also have Caden McDonald. So he's definitely going to be a problem on the inside. We have to keep him in check, right? We need to keep him in check. So we'll see how that goes, whether, with Brockenmeyer or kind of however that goes, but we'll need to keep him in check for sure. The cornerback, man, like this guy, Davidson, when I tell you number one, and I'm not going to butcher his name, this motherfucker does the most holding I have seen in a long time. His whole highlights is nothing but defensive holding and PI. Like, notoriously, Ohio State is known for having holding as DBs anyway, specifically at corner. Like, that's just what they do. They do a lot of holding, but he might be the king of them all with the holding. But you got him and you got Lorenzo Styles. Not really worried about it, to be honest. A lot of holding, so it just depends on what they're gonna let them get away with or not get away with, if I'm being honest. And then the last person that I'll, highlight for sure is Kenyatta Jackson. Another South Florida kid, 6.5 sacks. He definitely can be a problem coming off the edge for sure. And then I guess the other person technically to highlight is Jermaine Matthews Jr. So I will tell you right now, when I turned the film on, 7 was getting cooked often. I don't know who he's going to match up with, but wherever 7 is, abuse that boy. When I tell you he was barbecue chicken out there, he was barbecue chicken. So we done covered everything with them boys up front, man. We're going to go ahead and slide over to Miami, and we're going to run through this, right? Miami, 11-2, okay? Averaging 32 points per game. So Ohio State is averaging 35. Miami is averaging 32 points per game. So don't let these motherfuckers fool you with all of this bullshit that they was talking about. Oh, they only scored 10. The same amount of points the motherfuckers scored against Indiana. And when you look at the body of work overall for the season, the points per game are very close, right? 35 to 32, there's not a big difference there. All right, so when we talk about points per game that Miami's giving up, 13 points per game. That's good for number 5 in the nation, right? Strength of schedule, 27 in the nation. Ohio State is 28th, right? So Ohio State got the number 1 scoring defense. Miami got the number 5 scoring defense. Ohio State averaging 35 a game. Miami averaging 32 a game. Ohio State strength of schedule is 28th. Miami is 27th. Then here we go. Carson Beck, 75% of his passes being completed, right? Julian Sayin was at 78. Okay, 3,175 yards, 26 touchdowns. The biggest difference between the two, just from the numbers perspective, is going to be the interceptions. Beck has thrown 10 this year, while Sayin has only thrown 6. Then we move on. Obviously, Fletcher's our leading rusher, 857 yards, 10 touchdowns. I'm sure we'll probably see a dose of Pringle. So he has 363 on the year, 6 yards a pop, 4 touchdowns. We didn't see Marty Brown last game. I'm not sure if we see him or not, but we'll see. But between him and, we'll get into it later, but I wouldn't even be surprised if I saw Lyle get carries and him actually make a big impact. And I'm only saying that because another kid that was obviously recruited by Ohio State was committed there at one point, was quote unquote supposed to be going there. And then obviously he came here. The kid has not performed well the whole year. So I'm going to just put that out there. If there was a game for him to do something with an opportunity, it's this game. And we just going to leave it at that and we going to move on. Malachi Toney leading us in receiving yards with 992 on the year, 8 touchdowns. So we're going to circle back to something real quick. So Malachi got 992 on the year, right? 8 TDs. I want to point something out. And this is me just being honest. And this was part of the reason why I brought up the whole situation with Brandon Ennis. Brandon Ennis in his career over the course of 3 years has 471 receiving yards. Malachi has double the amount of yards in Brandon Ennis's entire career in his freshman season. Obviously, they both were at Heritage. Ennis was a big bro to Malachi. He was there. I think Ennis's last game was the game where Malachi fumbled and they lost the state championship and all of that. But I just wanted to point that out, man. Malachi has had an unbelievable freshman season, and when we're talking about stats and comparisons and all of that, so Jeremiah does have more yards on the year. At the end of the season, Malachi had more receiving yards than Jeremiah Smith, right? After the first 12 games before playoff season or whatever you want to call it, bowl season started, Malachi had 970 and Jeremiah didn't have as many. He had like 942 or something like that, right? So just comparing the two, man, just overall from a production standpoint, very similar. Obviously, body type and everything else completely different. But from a production standpoint, it's very similar, especially when we talk about overall scrimmage yards. And then Malachi is able to impact the game in ways that Jeremiah just doesn't. Jeremiah is not getting that wildcat. He's not throwing any passes. He's not returning any punts. And, that's just what it is. So when you talk about, impact and what each guy is doing and stuff like that, I think they're both vital, to their teams. Overall, I would say that Jeremiah has had the better season. From a receiving standpoint, when you look at it that way, 13 yards a catch, 11 touchdowns. But when we're talking about like impact overall, is Malachi for sure. It's not even a question. More all-purpose yards when you factor in the couple of touchdowns he's thrown, the rushing TD, just impacting the game in ways that there's no other player in college football that's doing that right now, period. Our next leading receiver, Keelan Marion, 590. And then after him, you got CJ Daniels at 420. Obviously, he had been hampered for a good bit, but he's fully healthy again. So I really expect Keelan Marion and Daniels to be able to get off. Not only do I expect them to be able to get off, but, the other guy, last week, JoJo would have had a touchdown had the win not took that ball. And he's the other guy, man. If it's going to be a game where somebody is going to do something, somebody's going to make a play where they haven't necessarily broken out this year, it's going to be JoJo. It's going to be JoJo. His whole life, the whole time he's robbing to JJ, right? JJ's Batman and he's Robin. JoJo's a number 2 and all of that. He's played with him for however many years. He hasn't done a lot this season, but the kid has found his way back on the field, right? He blocks hard when he's out there. His attitude has changed. But if there's a moment for him to do something, it's this moment. And one of the main reasons why is because you're not going to get any extra attention. Everything you get is going to be one-on-one. For sure, it's one-on-one. We playing in the dome, man. Ain't no win this week. You can say whatever you want, but there's no win. So I don't expect to see anybody gunshot or nothing like that, man. We coming to make it do what it do. I do think Elijah Lofton probably has a pretty good game this week. I could see it. I could see it for sure. I could see Lofton having a pretty good game, but it's a lot that goes into this, man. I could see more making plays, like just so much. There's so much there, honestly. There's so much there. It's a lot to go around. And if we being totally honest, we have 4 guys, or let me say this. We have 3 guys that can legitimately make plays and have shown that they can make plays, which would be Malachi, CJ, and Keelan Marion. If you throw JoJo in the mix, that would be 4 at wide receiver. They only have 2. They have Jeremiah and they have Tate. That's it. If Ennis balls out and has the best game of his life, I would live with that over letting one of the other 2 get off on you, right? So you just got to make it do what it do, man. And on defense, man, I'm not running down stats and all of that for individual guys. We know who we got, man. Everybody is supposed to be playing this Saturday not Saturday, this week on New Year's Eve for defense. I know the one big question mark for everybody was Damari Brown. I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll find out. I saw a still image of him in practice in a non-contact jersey, full pads with no boot. So we'll see, right? We'll see. If 2 is healthy and he's a go, then he's on 4, and 4 is going to have a mediocre ass game if 2 is healthy and playing on him. 2, Damari done already clamped, bruh, before. And I get it. It's high school and all of that. Not too much has changed. In my opinion, if we being totally honest, Damari has really elevated his game, and Jeremiah's game is still on par with pretty much where it was. You got to remember, when he got to Ohio State in the spring, they said he was the best player on that team last year, as soon as he got there. So that's him a month removed from high school football, coming in being the best player on a team. You see what I'm saying? That wasn't the case for Damari in a sense. But 2, like I said, if he's healthy, Jeremiah clamped. I don't care what anybody says. You can come in the comments, come on over. I'll back it up. If 2 is healthy, 4 is clamped. You talking 40, maybe 50 yards max. He won't get over 75 yards if 2 is healthy. I'm going to tell you that right now. He will not get over 75 is him having a great game on 2. He probably ain't getting more than 50 if 2 on him. You can do whatever you want, but it won't be a lot, man. Outside of that, man, everybody else is supposed to be back. Torrey is going to play. Jacoby's going to play. Keontae. And we balling, man. We balling. So let's get off all that, man, because we're going to take a real look at these stats for real, right? So a lot was being made about, oh, this and that or whatever, right? So we already discussed some key things, but here's some other things that stick out to me. By the numbers, Miami is more explosive than Ohio State. Okay? We have more explosive plays on the year than Ohio State. It's not by a lot, but my whole point is Miami's offense, our fans know and everybody else knows, lacked explosives this year overall, especially compared to last year. That's one of the things that our offense hasn't been good at. But Ohio State is worse than Miami at explosive plays. When it comes to running the ball, right? Let's talk about it. Let's discuss these numbers for real, because everybody had a lot of stuff to say and all of that. But let's really talk about these numbers, man. So when it comes to running the ball, right? Ohio State, 64th in the nation. 163 yards per game. 4.7 yards per carry. 2,100 yards, 24 touchdowns. Miami, 76 in the nation. 152 yards per game. 4.3 per carry. 1,975 yards, 23 touchdowns. Same thing when it comes to passing. They right in the same ballpark. They right in the same ballpark. And one of the biggest things that I do want to point out too is turnovers. Miami is top 10 in forcing turnovers. Right? Top 15 in turnovers forced. I'm sorry. Top 15. Ohio State is 83rd in the country in turnovers forced. They doing maybe 1 a game. Basically 1 a game. Miami's doing pretty much 2 a game. Turnover margin. And I bring this up because people talk about Beck, and every time they bring Beck up, it's, oh, he's going to throw a pick. He's going to throw a pick. He threw 4 more interceptions than Julian Sayin. Gotcha. Turnover margin, Miami is top 10. Ohio State, 35th in the nation. What Ohio State is really good at, outside of their scoring defense, because for me, and let me get this out of the way too, anybody that's going to hold their opponents to 8 yards per game, I don't care who you playing, You have to respect that. You have to. 8 yards per game is elite scoring defense. And some form of elite defense has to be played to hold people to 8 points per game. Has to. 8 points a game? Listen, man. They don't force turnovers, but they're great on getting off the field in third down. That's what they do. They get off the field on third down, and they have the number one passing offense in the nation. I mean, number one passing defense in the nation. Now, I will say, when you compare the two, they only give up 129 yards per game, right? Miami is 30th in passing D with 194 per game. The biggest difference to me is Miami played three teams in the top 25 passing. They played 2 in the top 15 passing in the country and 7 in the top 50. Ohio State has played 1 team in the top 25 and 4 teams in the top 50 in passing. Right? Big difference in who we're playing. And I don't even have to name names. We're talking overall production, right? So when you talk about us giving up basically 60 yards more per game than Ohio State, we're playing way better passing competition. Because our passing defense, just overall, we can count the number of times we've given up deep shots. We gave up 1 against A&M, and the Pitt game was the most deep shots we gave up all year in any single game. Still smoked them guys, but if I'm not mistaken, I think we gave up 4 explosives against Pitt. 3 actual deep shots and another one that was a chunk play. That's the most we had given up in a game all year. And there's a lot going on with that, right? Them switching up what they're doing, but this is now good on good. I don't expect Ohio State to make an extensive amount of changes overall. I get that Ryan Day is calling the plays this week, but I expect Ohio State to be Ohio State. All of that gimmicky shit that Miami had to face so much on defense, teams not doing that. And that's the other thing too. Like, teams weren't doing that against Ohio State. A lot of that stuff and some of them yards is off of stuff that they would not do. But even when it comes to, we still on the passing defense thing too. So Ohio State is number 1, only giving up 8.8 yards per completion. Miami is number 9, giving up 10 yards per completion. So you're talking about 1.2 yard difference. And we've played 7 teams in the top 50 passing, 3 in the top 25 versus their 4 and 1 in the top 25. It's just different, man. The one thing that I'll say where Ohio State's defense is also elite is in the red zone. The number 1 red zone defense in America. I don't care who you playing, bro. You're not letting people get down there and you're not letting them score. I'm giving anybody props and respect that's doing that. It's also about who you play, though. Ohio State, 5th best run defense in the country. Miami, 7th best run defense in the country. Miami is also top 10 in third down percentage. My whole point in all of this, man, is Ohio State's numbers have them number 1. They've played like a number 1 defense. The level of competition on offense that they've seen isn't the same. It's just not. I'm going to tell you the 3 best teams they played all year. Texas, Michigan, Indiana. Beat Texas by 7. Lost to Indiana. Beat Michigan for the first time in 5 years. The Michigan game was an absolute dogfight. 1 play, 1 or 2 plays where Ohio State is squeaky. So when I went back and watched the film, I didn't realize how tight that game was. Like, it was super tight. And then I was like, wow, it made sense. Michigan got the field goal. They intercept Sayin. They had a chance to go up 10-0. They don't. They kicked the field goal. And that threw stuff off. But even a couple of the chances that Ohio State took, on fourth down. You know, just different things like that. So the game was much closer than the score indicated for sure. But when they played better competition, the games were all tight. That's all I'm saying. The three best teams you played, the games is all tight. Right? That's it. So that's stats and all of the whatever, man. We done with all of that. This is how I see this. Julian Sayin played Indiana. They sacked him 5 times. He hadn't really been sacked that much the whole year, but Indiana was on his ass. Miami's defensive line is better than Indiana's. So if Ryan Day does not have some switch up in the game plan, if he don't throw a lot of quick hitting screens or do whatever he need to do, we gonna be on Julian Sayin ass, and it's gonna get ugly for that guy. I'm telling you right now. All of this, oh, he's under pressure, he's really good, man. He ain't seen no shit like this. I'm telling you, he ain't seen nothing like this shit he finna face. Nothing. 41 sacks on the year. 14 interceptions. He ain't seen nothing like this shit. My dog Bryce got 6 picks. Ohio State done caught 8 the whole year. Bryce almost got more interceptions than they whole team, man. It's really gonna be like that. It's finna get dark for y'all ass. All of that talking and shit y'all was doing, shit is over with. So we did the stats and all of the cool shit, but this where the whole video fucking flip. We are not coming to play games with y'all. As soon as y'all play somebody, all right, you see what happened. We're not Indiana. We finna come and we about to beat y'all ass. Straight like that. That's exactly what's about to happen this game. You're about to get dominated in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Period. This is now good on good. No more gimmicks, no more running. Ain't no win gonna save y'all. It's time to dominate Ohio State. We finna send y'all ass back home with an L, and that's gonna be that. Y'all not gonna be able to block us up front. And when we put Julian Sayin under a lot of pressure, the only way Ohio State got 2 ways to win this game. Bo Jackson somehow goes crazy, or Julian Sayin is able to get off some prayers, or either the quick ones he throw, we miss tackles. If that don't happen, y'all are fucking cooked. If you think Julian Sayin finna stand back in the pocket, move around, and look deep for 4 or Tate or man, come on, man. That shit not happening, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't get rid of that ball quick enough, you better get your fucking backup ready. Because the way we coming in and we wrecking shit, you better get your backup ready because it ain't no games being played. Up front, y'all ain't got enough, man. Y'all D-line ain't got enough. Caleb Downs, he's cool. If he's on Malachi, that'll be interesting. It's gonna get scary for him if he on Malachi. I don't know how y'all gonna play him. I know 7 on y'all defense's cheeks. Matthews, number 1, holds every fucking play. That shit is insane. We'll see. You know, the amount of plays that Sonny Styles makes. We'll see what Kenyatta gonna do. We'll see what Curry gonna do. Like, we'll see what your guys gonna do. I like my guys though. Straight up, I like my guys, and we gonna see where y'all at because I'm telling you right now, Miami is gonna be the most physical team that Ohio State has played all year. They're gonna be the most physical team that Ohio State has played all year, and we gonna really get down to the nitty motherfucking gritty. Lucas is probably gonna be on Tate. Lucas and O'Connor. This is under the assumption that Damari plays. If Damari don't play, Ohio State has a good chance to win this game. Your chances drastically increase if Damari Brown don't play. With Damari Brown playing, 75% chance Miami win this game. With Damari Brown not playing, it's probably 50-50. But with all of that being said, man, I expect Beck to be on the heater. I expect Beck to be on the heater, man. Beck know what's going on. Everything's on the line. Ain't no wind here. And if we being honest, if we get some fair officiating, we're gonna get multiple pass interference calls because all Ohio State does is fucking holds on the outside. When I tell you, when I turned that film on, that shit is egregious. It's egregious. It's crazy the amount of holding. Them, Clemson, and Florida State DBs are the three holdingest motherfucking DBs you'll ever find. Like every year, and I have to assume that's how they teach it because they always got DBs that be holding on for their life. They will tackle your ass. Word to Twan. If they beat, they'll fucking tackle you. But all one do is hold. That's it. Tell you right now, if he on CJ, that shit ain't gonna matter because y'all done seen CJ making crazy catches even with the PI and all of that. He be holding a lot. But we really finna hold y'all. Fletcher finna run through y'all. Lofton finna get off on y'all. Malachi finna make y'all look fucking stupid. Y'all ain't seen no shit like this, man. Straight up. Nothing else to say but fuck Ohio State. All right. Beck finna come out. Beck finna ball on y'all ass. I'm telling you right now. Beck finna make it do what it do. Mally going for 102 tutties. He might throw a tutty on y'all. We really about to do whatever we want to do. I like Miami for 450 yards or more on this Ohio State defense. And Heatherman finna have that boy Julian Sayin in hell. You hear me? A lot of people like to say a bunch of shit, but at the end of the day, bro, Beck done won so many games. I think Beck might be like 35-5 as a starter. You can say whatever the fuck you want, bro. You telling me you don't want a quarterback that win that many games, that done been in this many big games, and everybody want to talk about turnovers and stuff like that. Beck good for 2 of them games a year. He done already had both of them. Louisville and SMU, and one of them on SMU wasn't even his fault. That shit is over with, bro. If that's what y'all hoping for, that Beck is gonna make mistakes and that's how y'all gonna win, then think again. Not gonna happen. And even if he do, our defense is gonna be biting. Like y'all ain't seen, like the amount of pressure that y'all are about to be under is going to be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Like it's shit about to get real scary and black for y'all in Jerry World. But don't worry, we gonna pack that shit up for y'all, send y'all bitch ass back home, and we gonna continue on, man. We gonna continue on. A lot of talking, bro. I don't care about none of that. It gotta be lined up, and you have to play the games. You have to. Listen, man. I seen y'all talking about Ruben Baines stats and Mesidor stats, bro. None of that shit don't matter. We ain't even got. That's the thing about this. It ain't one guy you got to worry about on the D line, right? Between Bain, Mezzy, Blunt, Lightfoot, Scott, Moten, Blay, if he ain't doing stupid shit. Then you got to worry about Agent Zero coming on the blitz. You got to worry about Jacoby potentially coming on a blitz. You got to be worried about Torrey coming downhill. If they put Pruitt in that bitch, like it's just so much. If Damari is playing and he's in the slot, oh man, it's gonna be too much, man. The game gonna be moving too fast for y'all. And at the end of the day, ain't nobody over there really seasoned like that for real on offense. that you could say, oh, he really been through some shit. Ain't none of the running backs. Nah, wide receivers. I mean, I guess you went through something last year, kinda, right? And that's it. But one of them guys wasn't even the guy last year. Nah, bro. Sayin ain't been through shit yet. He ain't been through no fire for real. He ain't been through no fire. Shit about to get crazy for that young boy. Shit about to get real crazy for that young boy. Mark Fletcher finna show out on Ohio State. Fletch going for another crazy game on y'all. But that's what I'm saying. We got so much swirling where things can go for us, and y'all really have to depend on JJ Tate or Bo Jackson. That's it. Miami, I can name 7 or 8 options where stuff can get cooking for us. Y'all got to depend on that, man. It's not gonna work. That new guard that's playing, he gonna have nightmares after this game. Best believe it. Y'all tackles ain't seen no shit like this. Nothing like it. But either way, man, that's enough. I got Miami 31-24. That score is important. And if you're really a Canes fan, you know why. 31-24 Miami. So, man, first up out the gate, man, we about to check out Ohio State playing Texas. We only going to look at 3 games, the 3 most important games. Overall, I would say this was a cheek showing by both of these teams week 1, if I'm being totally honest. Like, even with some shit like that, bro, like, why the fuck would the tight end run the ball? Run the route a yard in front of the sticks? Like, come on. And even with something like this, like, you going for it right here on 4th down? Man, you know what? I'm turning this shit off, bro. I can't do it, y'all. I'm going to tell you right now. And we going to cut this shit short. And this ain't no retake or nothing, Twan. We just going to cut it short. In short, when you watch Ohio State on film, there's nothing that really stands out outside of the sound defense that they play and that they have supreme talent at wide receiver. Outside of that, that is it, bro. And I was going to finish going through some of this because I already done looked at all of the key games that needed to be seen. I watched everything where they played real competition. And to be honest, I fell asleep watching that shit. And then I had to wake back up and finish watching it. Like, they don't do nothing special. They're talented. Like, and I'm not taking nothing away from them. They're talented. They don't do nothing special. They got a great 1-2 wide receiver punch with basically average numbers. For a great tandem, that's nothing shocking about any of those numbers. Those are great numbers for wide receivers. But when you talking about the best tandem in college football, that's nothing crazy. You know, like I said, run game wise, Bo Jackson, he's nice. But outside of that, bro, there's nothing crazy about this team. Them and Miami are damn near identical overall. They're stronger than Miami in a couple of spots. Miami is stronger than them in a couple of spots. One team won 11 games so far. One team won 12 games so far. 2 really good defenses statistically. They have the best defense statistically. 2 pretty good offenses statistically. They have the better offense slightly. It's all in the numbers. It's really close overall. It's really close. One of the key areas that really stand out is the fact that Miami forces turnovers and Ohio State doesn't do that. Miami gets more sacks than Ohio State. Miami gets way more pressures than Ohio State. And Miami has more experienced players than Ohio State. When it comes down to it, that's just what it is. So everybody was watching when they played Indiana, and all of that. Everybody saw this game, and this was, week 1 and all of that or whatever. But like, if I'm being real, and I'm gonna switch it over to this tab, we would check out a little bit of the Michigan stuff. But like, these dudes, they not like that, bro. I don't know why everybody was gassy. If 6 don't make that, was a late hit. They ain't even call that shit. Take them points off the, like I said, close, tight game. Boom. Great route. Great concept. At the end of the day, man, that shit weak. That shit booth. Tell them boys to line that shit up and we smacking shit.